Welcome to your week. This is the Pop Culture Roundup. I co-host these every Monday with Sophie Ross from the popular podcast So True with Sophie Ross. She just had an excellent interview with Winter Mitchell this past week, and especially if you like long form, that's my style. It was an hour and 40 minutes, you guys. That is what I'm talking about with an interview. You can also find her Substack, which Freddie Mellencamp, fun fact, daughter of John Mellencamp, is a huge fan of. We're going to be talking about a lot of topics. It's very late because her favorite sports team, the Bengals, just lost in a very close game that I was following on my phone. Sophie, welcome to the show. How are you?
I'm obviously a little bit sad about that loss, but had a great day today. Today is my anniversary with my boyfriend.
Wasn't it just his birthday? We couldn't combine the two?
Yeah, it was his birthday. We did kind of combine celebrations.
Okay.
And I was like, I don't even remember exactly when our first date was. And we count our anniversary as our actual first date because we were immediately dating after our first date.
Wait, did you guys decide it both we're both super into each other, or how?
No, we weren't we're boyfriend girlfriend right now. No, it wasn't that, because you know how some people define their relationship, or they define the anniversary when they define the relationship.
Yeah.
We just defined it as our first date because we immediately just were only seeing each other and in love, basically. It was love at first sight. But
so it feels like it's been longer than a year.
I know, isn't that crazy? No, it's been a year exactly since our first date.
Oh my God, you could have told me it's been 3 years and I'd be like, yeah, I remember when you guys weren't dating. I don't even know where I am, right, or what month it is or anything. Well, congratulations for that. That makes up for the crushing defeat of the Bengals.
I know.
And by the way, the only thing is I was actually checking because I cared, and then I saw it was so close. They were up by a point, and then I went to the bathroom, and then all of a sudden it was over. And I was like, oh, Sophie's going to be so psyched that they won, and then they lost.
No, I was uncomfortable anyway, because when you're only up by 1 point and then they have a very good kicker. So I was like, all they have to do is get into field goal range and kick a field goal and then they win. So I was uncomfortable. I was like, it's over. And my boyfriend's team is the Eagles and they're 5-0. So I screwed up that, but whatever.
Well, this guy's having the time of his life right now. Birthday, anniversary celebration, his team's winning. This guy's on top of the world, and your team, you get, I guess, to have him. Okay, let's get into it because I know it's 11:30 at night where you are.
I know. I'm sorry. So I did so late.
No. Listen, you support your team. Okay, let's get into it. I said something I was trying not to talk about this dude again, but then he did something last night that was so disgusting to me. And also I watched both nights of his Tucker Carlson interview, which I had never watched Tucker Carlson before. That is a wild show. Kanye West said something so offensive even to me last night. And I wrote something in my stories that I now regret. I said something about, I've got to remember this is a sick man. But I do have to point out that there's a lot of people that deal with mental health, myself included, that are not right. Anti-Semitic. What is Deathcon 3? Which I think he meant DEFCON. And he said, when I get it's like war with Jewish people in the morning. He said that last night on Twitter.
I didn't know. It's called DEFCON 3.
Yeah.
And I didn't know what that meant. So I asked some people and they were like, it's a military term for when you're completely armed and ready to go. So what he tweeted was, I'm a bit sleepy tonight, but when I wake up, I'm going DEFCON 3 on Jewish people in all caps. The funny thing is, I actually can't be anti-Semitic because Black people are actually Jew also. You guys have toyed with me and tried to blackball anyone who ever opposes your agenda. So just extremely scary anti-Semitism.
I mean, that's not even, I want to be I always try to be humorous, but that enraged me. And it got me to the point where this is so sad, where I was like, I'm going to go burn all my Kanye shirts, which just shows you I'm like, fuck, I'm at burning things territory. This is scary. And the fact that he is so rich now, it is truly off the map. And the thing that he affects the culture, he got kicked off of Instagram because he's been just going crazy all week on there. Then he goes over to Twitter, and within 12 hours, he's I think off Twitter now as well. How sleepy do you have to be to admit your true intentions towards a race of people? I mean, come on, that's completely anti-Semitic. You're Jewish. How does that, I mean, and first off, just so you're like, there's no secret plan to get Kanye, right? Sophie, you're not aware of some secret plan.
There is some secret cabal of Jews running the world, like I wasn't invited.
So wouldn't you want to be invited too?
I mean, if this is happening, like, let me know. But like, no Jews that I know are involved in running the world like that. I mean, if people want to think that, that's like I've retweeted a lot of things about this, but I think that anti-Semitism functions so differently from other forms of racism because it's like a conspiracy theory. So it's not just like prejudice. It's like, Yair Rosenberg, I think, I don't know how to pronounce his name, but he's this amazing writer who's written for The Atlantic extensively about anti-Semitism. And he tweeted something how it's like a self-fulfilling prophecy. And I see this a lot where if someone tweets anti-Semitism and then their tweet gets taken down or whatever it is, they're like, it's confirming their biases that the Jews are running everything. And this is like, I mean, this is a frequent thing that I see a lot of people on different subjects involving Jews. I'm not going to get into everything, but it's
no. I mean, but also we're living in the time where conspiracy theories run rampant. It's like the sexy thing from QAnon to this bullshit. Right. So it's like so easy.
And also, to be clear, the part that he tweeted about how Black people are the real Jews is it's Black Hebrew Israelites, and that's Louis Farrakhan, who many people know.
Guys, if you get into Farrakhan, please, enjoy. Yeah.
If you get into Farrakhan, please just stop listening to this podcast because you believe that I'm a termite and that I worship Satan. Essentially, it is what he believes, and that's kind of the thing is that the people that call themselves Jews now really they took over the identity of Jews from the real Jews, which are Black people. And that's what the Black Hebrew Israelites think is that they're the real Jews and that we're all like, you know, just in disguise pretending to be Jews and we stole their identity. And it's like, why does my DNA test just tell me that I'm Jewish? I want to know the origin of the country.
23andMe, what is going on? 23andMe, like
it's so annoying. 23andMe, if you're Jewish, it's just like Jewish, and I'm like, but what's the country of origin? I don't get any details.
I mean, but it's so weird though because it's like. I hate, you know, I take mental health so seriously and I still am learning how to speak about it properly, even though I deal with it myself. And I actually just had somebody really close with me diagnosed bipolar. And I'm trying to find out more about bipolar and 1 and 2 and all of these things. And I'm trying to have sympathy and empathy but it's like at a certain point, I want this dude to shut the fuck up. Like he has made, like, I don't care how many, you should have seen him on Tucker too, because there was like this anti-Semitic, he turned against Jared Kushner, you guys, and he brought up the peace accords that Jared worked on. And he's like, that was just because of money. He tried to make it a Jew money thing. Like, so, and like Tucker Carlson, stupid. I'm sorry if you like Tucker, man, but that's complete fiction and fantasy. His listening face. And then he would tell the audience, he goes, a lot of people think he's crazy, but if you listen to that, he's making some really solid points.
He's like, get a load of this guy.
Yeah, it was just so weird. And I don't know how you solve this because he wants to run for 2024. It's more bullshit where he's tearing people apart. This is a dude that I had some of my most fun times dancing at a concert to, or just in a car getting pumped up for an audition was his music. I had such a soft spot for it, but I just never predicted that this is where we would end up. And even the Kardashian of it all, you're like, oh, you know, oh man, I wish I had the Kardashians' life. Do you? Kim has to deal with this on a daily basis. He will eventually get those kids taken away from him.
She has to deal with this on a daily. I was thinking that she has to deal with this on a daily basis, and probably also is, you know, a lot of these mental health issues are genetic, and
oh my God, yeah,
that's just something that you have to think about if your partner has a mental health issue that's this serious. And again, it's not an excuse. It's not an excuse because a lot of people have mental health issues and they do not turn to conspiracy theories about Jewish people or threatening violence against a race of people, like you said. It's not an excuse. I think that it makes you, I think some of the issues that he deals with, it makes him paranoid. It makes him turn to these beliefs that he already has because he finds them comforting for whatever reason.
But I hate to make that association between like, this is going to be a wild one, Dahmer and Kanye. Dahmer's one of the most streamed shows on Netflix right now. And I'm like, I don't give a fuck about his story. I don't give a fuck about his story. And also with the Kanye thing, I've never heard somebody go on and on about how they're being censored and he gets like so much airtime to say whatever he wants. I've never seen somebody say everything that they want, but at the same time say they are constantly being censored. And I'm like, dude, I have heard you say everything, too many things, that it seems like you have a great deal of freedom of speech.
Right. And I think the thing that actually like is the most alarming to me about all of this is that before his tweet got taken down by Twitter, it had
so many people liked it and all that stuff.
Had like 50,000 likes. Like that is scary to me. That like it's like there are 50,000 people that read that tweet and liked it. Like that is like a large chunk of the Jewish population of the world. Like
I think we said, and you, by the way, guys, you're like, it's like, you're not, there's not like, it's not, I don't know. It's very frustrating because also I'm just so, you get disappointed and scared in people. Cause I think I said this to you or something last week where I was just like, you start to realize like, fuck, there is really truly a lot of hate out there. And we can try to combat it with like good ideas and making people laugh and stuff. But sometimes it genuinely scares me. And that's why I think I'm into reality shows and all of this stuff, because it's such an escape from this. Why? I mean, like, and this is considered pop culture now. Like that Tucker interview was considered pop culture instead of like you're giving airtime to, listen, we don't seem to learn our lessons from history. And I mean, where the fuck do you go from here? Like, where does he, is he going to get on a Be Real account now? Like, and get, where can he even get his message out at this point?
Truth Social.
Oh no, yeah, like, go to Truth Social. Yeah,
it's like I feel like so much of what Kanye, a lot of his outbursts and antics have been like chalked up to like, oh, he's going through an episode. Like it's just Kanye being Kanye. He's this misunderstood creative genius. There is absolutely no excuse for this tweet, and
that's what I realized.
Tucker Carlson and on Instagram and on Twitter. It's like there's no excuse for this, and he is completely crossed the line. And again, it's like if you pay attention to history, you know how the Holocaust kind of started, and it was beliefs like this getting normalized. And no,
that's what I'm saying. Like these things, we're normalizing this behavior over the last, the last long period of time, but the last 4 years have been so intense, and we keep like moving the line back of like, okay, I guess that's acceptable. Oh, again. And by the way, a broken clock is right twice a day, you guys. So Kanye will still say something that will probably blow your mind back. But if you listen to 8 hours of this podcast, I'm bound to say two things that you'll agree with at some point. Like it's just the fact that we're giving him this much airtime really scares me. But you're right, Sophie. Like I did that last night. I said, okay, this man's sick, but it still doesn't help that kids are seeing this message, that's going out there to my niece and nephew. And he is part of this trying to push the culture and making white lives matter. And how much generational wealth do you need? He's like, this is for my kids. And I'm like, dude, aren't you scared for his daughters, especially on Tucker? He was like, I do not approve of some of these Skims ads. I will not allow my daughters to dress like that. He's already like, those daughters are going to go through hell.
Yeah, again, it's like I do not envy Kim's position that she is in. Dealing with this, the father of her children, is an absolute nut job.
And for somebody like Kim, who we know holds such a tight rein on her public persona and cares deeply about her persona, you just wonder. I mean, by the way, she was at the Dallas Chargers game today, and she got booed when they put her up on the Jumbotron, like a full stadium. And she was with her. You can find this on Twitter, and she was with her son, and it was really like kind of sad because it was like it started nicely, and then it was just a whole chorus of the stadium booing, and I was like, that's wild, because you can audibly hear the boos. And I was really like, damn.
Wait, I'm playing it. Hold on. I'm going to mute.
Yeah. Play it.
Or do you want me to not mute myself?
No, don't mute yourself. I want to like see if we can pick up any of the sound.
Okay.
Boo. Yep.
hear it?
Yep. See, it started as clapping and then it went to all boo.
Yeah, boo. And you know what's funny about Kim also is that she did some interview recently where she was like, I want people when they think about me in the future to be like, she was a good person. Like she wants so badly to be liked and respected. And I think that that's where we're getting like the private equity firm, the true crime podcast, the, freeing prisoners. Like she wants nothing more. Like she has all of the fame and the money. And I know that people say that, they thrive off of negative press, negative attention. I think that truly nothing will satisfy her until she's like beloved and respected by the general public. And it's never going to happen. And
unless I have a feeling she could get rich enough where she gives each of us $1,000 eventually, and then I'll consider it.
Oh, if she decides to if she actually took all of her money, a large portion of her money, and actually proved that she was giving back financially, and not just doing some of her performative, like, here's my podcast about this like case that people should care about. Like, no, you have so much money to solve so many problems and you do nothing for everyone. Like, there are so many things that I feel like she could do to kind of sway public opinion of her. But again, it's like, I really feel like she will never be happy or satisfied until she is like really liked and respected. I know that everyone's like, oh, well, Kim, like just any press is good press for her. Like she thrives off negative attention. I'm like, I don't think that's true. I think that it really genuinely bothers her. Like I'm sure that bothered her.
Oh, 1,000%. And how, I mean, like it would bother me, but like being her is like,
can you imagine you or me on the Jumbotron?
Dude, I mean, literally, I would be like, I don't even like football. Like, what the fuck?
I'd be like Nathan Fielder.
That's what I was. Nathan Fielder at the Mets game was. I mean, that was such. Did you see that, you guys? So Nathan, they cut to him, and he just like had a puss on, and but it was so funny because it was so planned that I almost feel like it's going to be an episode of the rehearsal.
He had a whole stadium built just to rehearse for this.
Yeah, that's why HBO Max is spending their money wisely. Okay, so moving on. Kanye's a fucking idiot, and we cannot let these things just like, do not excuse this behavior. Just don't. It's really simple to live your life and to love everyone. I know it's hard sometimes, but practice that. And if you truly believe in the teachings of God and all of that stuff and Jesus, and I mean, whatever you believe, I mean, I think it all comes down to a core principle of being kind to one another and not hating one another. And what I'm just seeing from him is just spewing hatred and then kind of just blaming it on all these conspiracy theories and all that. And that's why I think he really does truly align with the right wing. And I don't like to get into politics on the show a lot, but it's very scary. Just really think about who you're aligning with at this point in history, especially. And I think hopefully we have commonalities where we can come together where we can even agree this is just wrong.
And I know that these conspiracy theories about Jewish people are literally designed to be easy to buy into. They're not true.
Yeah.
I promise you, we do not control the weather. And if we did, I would have so much less anxiety about like whenever I'm on vacation, if it's going to rain, like.
By the way, we're going out this week. If you could, tell the tribe to make it a little sunnier. Yeah. No. Well, and also, I'm sure Mel Gibson's having the time of his life right now. He's like, that Kanye is great. Wow.
Another person who's like, get a load of this guy.
Yeah, he has some solid ideas. Okay, moving on to another thing that I started getting messages about last night, which is just so great because I'm like, I got scared because I don't know if you guys remember, there was like a try hard on Beverly Hills years ago. It was Bruce Springsteen's daughter, I think. It was like a Freddie Mellons band camp. And she was on Beverly Hills, I think. And now she has a podcast with Tamra Judge, who's an actual real housewife. And I didn't even realize, but I started getting texted and tweeted Sophie's tweet. And I was trying to make sense of it because I was like, wait a second, what's going on here? And what happened? Did you get into it with Freddie Mellon camp?
So Freddie acts like she's Barbara Walters.
It's her new. She's got a job to do, you guys.
You guys, it's so funny. So she tweeted something, basically writing an essay, about the fact that I don't even know if I read it, honestly. It was about Kyle
and Kathy and like
Kathy,
all the
something, and she like wrote an essay about. Oh my God, I can't even. It's so long, you guys. And I quote tweeted her. Yeah, wait, explain it.
No, it's basically, it was that like, she's like, I have to cover these things. And I think she was like,
I get paid.
Because Christian Grey Snow, we've had on the show a bunch, great guy. I mean, a really funny guy. And he tweeted something on Alex Baskin, the producer, Evolution Media of Real Housewives of Beverly Hills. He wrote a comment saying like, oh, I hope Kyle's not, like, I feel bad for Kyle. I hope she's not crying. Like, I feel sad that she's crying. And then Kathy Hilton was like, feel bad for her. I was the one persecuted for 10 months on that show. And then Kyle was like, Kyle was like, I know you don't want me to tell you why I was crying. And I know you really don't want to, I know you don't want me to tell everybody why I was crying. And then Freddie took that and was like, guys, I have a podcast, so I do have to talk about this. This is something I can't ignore. And nobody's like, I don't know. Like, I know the podcast is successful, but like, is anybody going, I need Freddie's thoughts on the Kathy Hilton? Like, to me, I just completely, like, I don't want to hear anything about Beverly Hills from Kyle or from Teddy.
Apparently. And so I quote tweeted this essay and I said, ratio plus L plus no one cares.
Explain what ratio means to people.
Ratio means I am getting more likes on this tweet than you got on your tweet. and she goes, do need you, Substack subscribers. She goes, do need you.
Okay, so she meant do you need, but need you is Freddie speak.
Substack subscriber Sophie, because for someone who doesn't care, you tweet about me like the rent is due.
Ooh, that's like what a snappy little, like, the rent is
so witty. She's so witty, guys.
I hit that bed like it owed me money. All right, Freddie, look at the vernacular. Wow.
She got 261 likes on that tweet. And
that's pretty good for Freddie, by the way. 261 for Freddie. Like, that's a good like day.
Then I replied delusional because I searched like how many times have I tweeted about Teddy Mellencamp, nothing came up. And I got 886 likes. Ratio her. And then she goes, she responds with, I'm literally replying to your quote tweet of me. Try again. She got 26 likes. And I said, one tweet does not equal tweeting about you like the rent is due. And that got 241. So for the record, I did ratio her.
But what I like is that Freddie obviously has a couple of like fake accounts and she would like probably tweet from those positive things. Like I read a couple things like Sophie just got owned. And I was like, wait, like what? We're grown-ups first off. Like, Freddie, you've got a fucking family. Like, you have kids that you should be taking care of on top of the busy podcast schedule. And the fact that you're on a Saturday evening, because like this is a Saturday, like for Sophie, it was probably like, 8 or 9, but for Freddie, it's like 6 p.m. And this is what she's doing with her time, which I just think if you're successful, you don't need to be doing this with anyone. But it's like, she didn't even end with you. She was like searching her name or something.
She was going after
Sam she did it as Sam too? Bravo historian.
Like, oh my God. It was just like so pathetic. And it was so funny because I was like, I was actually with my boyfriend's parents were in town this weekend.
Oh, did you have to explain this to them? That's so sad.
No, I was actually trying to explain it to my boyfriend, and he just like his eyes glazed over.
Yeah.
He was like, I have no idea what you're talking about. He didn't know what the Try Guys were. When I mentioned that SNL did the Try Guys, he was like, what are you talking like? What's the Try Guys? And I was like, who are you?
That actually is a story we're going to talk about in a second, actually, because but yeah, explaining to somebody, and the only way you could explain Teddy to anybody is like, oh, do you remember John Mellencamp? Like, that's because you can't think of like, I know a lot. And by the way, that's why the Bravo fan base is so fascinating. And I think there's room for everybody, but it is fascinating. Like the diehards, the people that are in for like Rinna and Erica and like even Freddie. And it's just like, at a point, it's like, you just like to disagree. Like, you just like to disagree. And what you like is like, I can even agree that Rinna like brings it, but she brings it in a comedic. Like, can't we all agree at this point, even if you like Rinna, you're laughing at her, not with her? Like, can we all agree at least that? Like, we're laughing at her because some of the things she says is so fucking ridiculous. Freddie doesn't even get near Rinna in terms of entertainment value. Can't we even admit that? Like, Freddie is not a good housewife.
Oh, yeah. I mean, she has name one iconic Freddie moment.
Well, she with that one time, was it Dorit that kept her waiting that hour or something? Like, that wasn't iconic. I just thought it was funny to have her wait.
Yeah,
like, I don't know.
A funny moment wasn't even iconic on Freddie's part. The one other thing that I can think of was Kyle making fun of the way she walks, but that was Kyle.
Yeah, that was at in Paris or at the winery. Oh, do you guys remember the one where she told people they couldn't eat and they starved themselves? And it was her business and she made money on. Oh, yeah. Wait, not an episode. That was actually in real life. That was all in business. Yeah. Yeah. And then the other time when Kyle's purses got stolen from the house and Edwin supposedly had done the security, her husband, on that. That was like an iconic moment. So yeah, but like that, when somebody like Freddie gets at you, like I know Kendall Jenner once tweeted at you, and that I would be nervous if a Kardashian was like recognizing me. But like you don't, like with Freddie, it's like, oh man, like I would be almost sad for Freddie that she was interacting with me. You know, it's like, you don't need to do this.
Anyone who goes after me on Twitter, like, I'm just saying, Baker Mayfield, when he went after me and then blocked me on Twitter, he's now the worst quarterback in the NFL. Kendall Jenner, worst model in the world.
Wait, I love this week's Kardashians, the big plot line when she had her hair turned red and she couldn't go out because everybody was like, if anybody saw this red hair before the Prada fashion show, it was going to ruin the show. And like, I mean, like, people still talk about that red hair moment. Like, was that even a big fucking deal? Like, who the fuck cares what color your hair is?
Can you imagine that being like your life? I can't believe that's a storyline. I haven't watched the new season of Kardashian.
Oh, it was like a 2-episode storyline. She was like, I fooled everybody. I've gotten on with like a hoodie and nobody's seen my hair. And then she hid in her hotel room.
She's so lame and just has no personality. She's like, I fooled everyone, you guys. I hope I can't leave my house. Like, oh my God.
And then she's like so worried about the inside of her body. And like she does all of these weird tests, and that's like been a storyline this season so far. Yet she just admitted she got COVID and still can't smell or taste. And I'm like, it just shows you rich people that do all these weird procedures and all that, they still get the same shit that we do. They get like, you know, like she can't smell or taste, and she's worth like $1 billion probably. Real quick on the Try Guys, because on Sophie's Substack, which you need to go sign up for, she did talk about the Try Guys, but I wanted to bring it up because of SNL last night. At first, what I thought was like at the beginning, I thought it was a funny sketch because it was like CNN and it was like breaking news.
So bad. It was,
and then it turned out that SNL, you guys, had the opinion that the Try Guys were blowing it out of proportion, that Ned Fulmer cheated with an employee on his wife. And so the whole thing was this joke, very like, fuck the Try Guys for giving a shit that he hooked up with a consensual relationship. And I'm like, if I'm not mistaken, I only found out about the Try Guys 2 weeks ago, but the whole thing is that's their business is based on a family brand. And that was their friend, but they also have a full business, an LLC that they make money from. And they can't, like, it was so simple to me.
It was also, I mean, it's not even the fact that he quote unquote cheated. He had an affair with a subordinate employee.
Yeah,
he was her boss. That is actually like illegal, because that's a problem. That is like power dynamics. If you want to talk about power dynamics, that is an abuse of them.
But why was that funny on SNL? Why did they choose that way to go? Like, I mean, that was such a weird take.
You know why? And people.
Well, one of the writers was friends with Ned.
Ned is friends with one of the writers, and they released the writers of that skit, and it was his friend. So
why did like Bowen Yang, who by the way was.
It made everyone in that situation look stupid and embarrassing, except the guy who fucked up. It was just.
Well, Bowen Yang, by the way, who I think is hysterical and was really funny playing the Asian member of the Try Guys, because he was very angry and Bowen did that great. But I still thought, I was like, how did this even, like, Bowen seems like such a guy on the right side of like issues and history. How did this? Because to me, but like workplace,
he did that.
That's what I'm saying. How did that happen? I think Bowen usually is like dead on in how he thinks about things, or it really aligns with how I think about things. So I thought it was just so weird that was the take they had on it. And I don't know, it was super weird. But yeah, the Ned thing, the connection was, I'm like, wait, are we allowed to like fuck employees now? Is that now acceptable?
That made me super disappointed in Bowen. And of course, everyone was making jokes like, oh, yeah, obviously SNL does not have an issue like, with hooking up with subordinate employees because that's what they do.
Yeah, I mean, that's kind of what I mean.
Harassment or whatever.
Okay, I've got some tea to give to you guys. This is tea that was given to me, and I hate when a grown man says tea, but I did it. This week at BravoCon, they will be announcing from my sources. Hopefully you've heard it here first. They will be announcing Real Housewives of Manhattan. It will not be New York any longer, and they will be revealing the cast this week.
Wait,
they
so
will
there's
be
no more just Roni at all?
Okay, I could be completely wrong, but I have a source that I trust that says it will be Real Housewives of Manhattan.
So like,
and it will be announced
done forever.
Well, you will have Roni Legacy that will be fully announced as well, I believe, with the cast, and it'll be Real Housewives of Manhattan, and they are starting over.
What? Who are the Real Housewives of Manhattan? Like those influencers?
Well, we had the one. I think the one is the popular Jewish woman entrepreneur that actually, because I just read about her coming out against Kanye, and she said she's one of the cast members.
Lizzie Savetsky, right?
Exactly. Yeah, that's it. That's the name.
So wait, so what?
I mean, this was just this was something. Well, I don't have the cast members yet. Hopefully, I'll get them this week, but I thought it was interesting to go to Real Housewives of Manhattan. I thought that was interesting. So we'll see if I'm right. I usually don't say these if I don't think I'm right about it. So hopefully I'm right. I usually don't do rumors or blinds. So my whole reputation depends on this.
You better
okay.
Not.
Also, I know this could ruin my whole career. Did you watch Southern Charm Reunion Part 1 this week?
Oh my God, yeah.
Okay, wait, tell me your opinion on, because within the first 10 minutes, you guys, Taylor went just trash Shep in this epic monologue within the first 10 minutes. What did you think of that monologue and her saying the WHORES, whores?
I don't think that she needed to call women whores. I think the only person that she should have been, calling disparaging words is Shep. And I think that it was clearly rehearsed. She had been practicing.
Yes, totally.
Waiting for this moment. So I think her delivery was a little awkward. I don't fully understand. It's like you knew who Shep was. Everyone knew who he was. I feel like it's like you're never going to change a 40-year-old man.
But don't we always want to believe? I feel like that's a common thing that especially women sometimes get locked into of I know he has, she kept saying all season, I know his heart. I know he's got it in him. And I was almost believing in your favorite sports team. I know they can do it. And then realizing finally after 2.5 years, and I think that's that anger that came out in that rehearsed of dude, I was so wrong, but also fuck you, because I don't know, the whores I totally understand and agree with, but she also called herself a whore. So I was that to me excused it a little bit, because she was and also, don't you think she meant Southern gentlemen kind of consider them whores? Thomas Ravenel was just
you're using these women to masturbate. That's what you do.
But she's kind of right. You do use these women. These women are good to have a laugh with and for Shep to ejaculate with. That is what these women are good for to him.
I literally didn't know what she meant by that until I listened to Watch What Crappens, and Ronnie or Ben, they were well, it means that you're just using the women for your sexual gratification. I was oh, that's what she meant. Again, the delivery was a little weird. I'm glad she got that out of her system.
But then it kind of then I was it started so strong that I was oh, now where do we go from here?
Shep obviously sucks, but yeah, it's I don't know.
This leads to Demois today. This was a blind item, so who knows? It says Shep was at Commodore and left with the brunette. And then an hour and a half later, Taylor and Austin showed up together to the same spot, Charleston, South Carolina. Austin and Taylor stayed till close and were on sidewalk together to get Uber.
Wait,
that just came out today. But also think about it. Think about how close they were on the couch. She was like, yeah, we're kind of connected with each other in regards to the sister moment with Taylor. And I'm like, you could, but by the way, everybody's like, yeah, now that's
them. I would love for Austin and Taylor to get together. I would love that.
See, but I it's better than Shep, but I still think Austin's got tons of issues. Like he's just the more charming one that understands what people are talking about when they talk about being aggressive towards women. He's like, oh, I get it. But he doesn't truly practice it himself. Like Olivia was on the couch saying, you've like dipped out on me like for like weeks at a time.
No, like I get that. I get why clearly Austin isn't like that much more of a desirable option. But I think that it was very clear this season, and I've seen other people say this too, that like he obviously really cares about Taylor.
Yes, I do agree with that.
I think he really cares about her. And I think, you know, between Austin and Shep, Austin has been in long-term relationships before. He actually does, you know, fall hard for women that he's with, like Madison. He's like still not over Madison.
Madison!
But like, I don't know. I could kind of see that, and I would be interested in watching the fallout of that.
I think that, I mean, and by the way, that, because I was like, does Taylor stay on the show now? But I was like, if that is true, yes. Like, I would love for Taylor to stay on the show.
Hell yeah.
Also, do you agree with this, that I think Craig especially gay baits Andy, like big time? Like he's always like, Andy, would you like to, me and Austin, would you like to help facilitate our love? And Andy's like, I mean, honestly, yeah, like I would love to help with that. Like Craig always kind of throws those things towards Andy. I feel like it's kind of this weird, like he's very aware of the people to kiss ass.
Oh my God.
Does that, I mean, don't you think so? Every time Andy's around, he'll like throw out like a sexy comment to Andy, and Andy truly thinks Craig is hot. He is a good looking dude.
Andy definitely has his favorites because I feel like he hates Austin, but he does like Craig.
Yeah. Craig also, it didn't get brought up until next week, but Leva did say that Craig said that he was the most popular guy on Bravo. And he said it around Paige.
Freaking funny to me. That is
because you know it's so true. You know it's so
100%
true.
100% true. 100%.
But then I was thinking, is it true? Like, I mean, I guess is he the number one guy on Bravo right now? Could that be true?
Are you serious? Are you?
Well, who
seriously?
else? Who? I mean, what, PK? Like, I mean, I guess Mauricio, but for a lead,
he said person. He did not say guy.
Oh,
he said person.
Okay.
Sutton exists. Karen Huger exists. Padma Lakshmi exists. I'm sorry.
Yeah, no. I was going with Guy, and I was like, well, maybe there's an argument for Guy to be had, but it's still so cocky. Also, you didn't get to watch Real Housewives of Potomac yet tonight, but I will just tease you with this. There is at one point, they're talking about Ashley and Michael Darby's divorce, and Ashley says that she had a coochie craving for Michael, and it literally made me throw up in my mouth. And I don't know how anybody could have, even if it was your husband, all like, I just feel like that's just too, but Potomac was excellent. But that was just a moment that really grossed me out. You're going to love watching it though. Those ladies, so good.
When I was watching the game, the ball game, and they were losing, I was like, why the fuck am I not watching Potomac right now?
It's just so weird when those shows start. And I was like, Beverly Hills disturbs me and gives me anxiety. And I'm not talking about like towards the end of the season, the whole season, but these Potomac ladies, they show up and it's like, like I smile the whole time I watch it, the way they interact with each other, even like just their facial expressions. Like I just hope you guys show up for Potomac. I think you will, and you will always do, but it is so good. And it's like the way they bounce off each other, even in their petty squabbles, or this is about Mia's cancer, if she has it or not. And there's going to be a Chris potentially cheating storyline. And we got Peter from Real Housewives of Atlanta showed up for a scene in the first episode. It's just so much better than other Housewives shows to me. And they do nothing to do it.
I've always said that when I describe like the different Housewives franchises, because I've met people that are like, where should I start? And I'm like, they all have such different vibes, because like, I feel like Beverly Hills can get really dark with like legal drama. I feel like Salt Lake City, again, is like very serious. Like the different franchises, they have such different vibes. And I say that Potomac is just like pure comedy. Like, it's so funny. And it's so like, and I've said this before, that I feel like there's never like, I'm never watching Housewives and being like, I want to be in that friend group. The only people that I can say I want to be friends with other than the Potomac ladies is like Garcelle and Sutton. I would love to be their BFF, but like, otherwise I'm like, no, I'm so glad I don't know these people in real life.
Yeah.
But
I mean,
Potomac, I'm like, I want to be on that cast trip right now. Like, they're so much fun. They're so funny. Like, it's just, again, it's just a comforting comfort show versus Beverly Hills. That's like,
so did you watch the season finale this week?
Of Beverly Hills?
Yeah. Okay, just real quick though, it's like, I just don't know how much clearer we can get of Kyle going, I want my family all to be at my wedding. Can you guys please stop? And for frickin' Frack to keep going, keep pushing. And they truly are the worst fucking improvisers in the world. They're like, just are like bouncing back. Like, I just think like at this point, guys, even if like, we can all admit, once again, we're laughing at Lisa Rinna, right? Like, there's nothing that I'm like, fuck yeah, you handled that right. And what did you think of the reunion trailer with Kathy coming in strong towards Rinna about her wasn't that good?
The biggest bully in Hollywood and everybody knows it.
And wouldn't you know, Lisa Rinna, like I said she would, posted it the next day and did it with her little M&M because she loved, like, for Lisa to be the biggest of anything in Hollywood has to be the most exciting for her because this woman craves attention. It doesn't matter good or bad. So she probably loved being called that.
He's so annoying. Yeah, just being the biggest anything in Hollywood. I'm sure she's like, oh, thank you. Like, shut up. Bitch.
She says, put me on pause in the reunion. Do we think she will be put on pause? I don't.
I mean, I know that we have this debate all the time. Like, oh, well, she gets attention and she gets the tweets and she gets ratings and she brings the drama. But it's like, there comes a point where it's like, we don't love to hate Rinna. We hate to hate her. Like, she is part of the reason why watching Beverly Hills gives us anxiety. Like, it's not fun to watch her. And I know we need the drama. We need the conflict, whatever.
Yeah, that's everybody's big argument. She brings the drama. I'm like, it's so heavy handed at this point that it's so fake. And it's like not the good drama.
He's just like such a horrible person, like a rotten human being with a black heart or black soul or whatever.
Yeah.
Like, if anyone has
well, you know, she's getting cancer. She's getting cancer from keeping this stuff in her.
She's getting cancer and she's like
PTSD and cancer.
It's like, she is such a disgusting human being that I want nothing to do with. I want no part in contributing to her bank account, to her wallet, to her viewership. Like,
I won't buy Rinna Rosé.
I know a lot of people that actually have said, like, I'm done with Beverly Hills if they keep Rinna because it's just too much. Like, she's too much. Like I said, it's heavy.
I think I listened to a clip on your page, maybe like Bitch Sesh, the insanely huge podcast. I love Casey, and but they were talking about like Lisa truly is a bully. Like, she will get into it even with Casey, where she was like such vitriol. It's another one of those things like Freddie Mellencamp. She searches her name. She wants to get into it with everybody. Lisa truly is that individual that is kind of scary off camera. Like, and she's always been that way. And that is not fun when it's like, you guys, we're here to like kind of laugh and joke. And especially online, we're here to like kind of make each other laugh at times. Sophie likes to point out actual points, but I like want to make people laugh and I want to do, and it's like, Lisa just doesn't seem to get it for somebody that says that they own it and they get jokes and all that. She doesn't. She can't take anything.
Exactly. It's just, it's not fun. It's not. She's toxic. She's literally poison. How many more people do we have to see her bully off of the show? Eden Sassoon. Justice for Eden Sassoon.
About Eden Sassoon. I mean, I'm telling you.
Remember when Eden Sassoon like went insane and was like, you're a fucking bitch. What did she say? She was like, you're a bitch. And it was like in public. And Rinna was like, oh my God, this is so embarrassing. Who is this girl? Like, this is so embarrassing. And everyone was like, oh my God, that was so like embarrassing. That was way too much. Like back when we all watched it. And now it's like, she is vindicated because that's what she does. She gaslights and bullies to make these people look crazy and look like there.
If you were on Salt Lake, Whitney would see some spiritual healer and saw it like, I saw Lisa cry as a little girl, and I know there's a little girl in there crying. I don't care though. Like I'm done with it. I think she can move on. I hope she has success in her. And by the way, you can bring her back 3 seasons from now. I don't care, but I think we do need a pause. But it is funny because Sutton seems like she is building her army. She was at Camille Grammer was at the Hollywood Bowl with her. She was hanging out with Denise Richards recently. Like she really is covering a wide swath. But I'm like, that's kind of the only thing that excites me is like if you did bring Rihanna back and you brought all of these other ladies back, I keep saying like the ghosts of Christmas past and just have all of Rinna's people come back to haunt her,
Yeah, I die for Sutton. I just love her.
Dude,
I love Sutton.
I have a crush on Sutton so hard.
What?
I want dude, sorry, like what's his name? Jinden or what? Sanjit, her dude, the postscript.
They're just friends. At the end, it was like Sutton maintains that they're just friends. And I'm like, no.
If Sanjit's like a fuck buddy, like that's weird too. Like she's like, but then also she was like, well, I was talking to somebody on Bumble and it was 30 or 40 minutes, and then it all went green all of a sudden. Doesn't that just mean they blocked her?
Wait, the way you said Bumble. Wait, say
Bumble. I was on Bumble talking for 30 or 50 minutes with this gentleman caller, and then all of a sudden went green. And that means they blocked her, right?
So the way that you say Bumble, I want that like on repeat.
She hits those words super hard. And then so this week, you guys, wait, also I'm really scared at BravoCon. Lisa Rinna now is going to be there. So can we all make an agreement? Anybody at BravoCon that we openly boo when she comes out on stage? Let's treat it like wrestling. Treat it like wrestling or like a Kim Kardashian at a football game and just openly boo. Because she'll love it.
I would if I were going.
Okay, finally, Salt Lake City. Did you see it this week at all? It was very intense already in the second episode.
What happened again? Because I can't even remember at this point.
Okay, so they went to Scottsdale, and Whitney has reached out to Lisa because she saw her cry as a little girl in her spiritual session. So brought her to Scottsdale with her first, and Lisa just wants to have like a friend. So Lisa's like being nice to Heather and Whitney. Meredith is still going hard, but then we had like these Jen Shaw scenes where it was very empathetic, talking about her family, the scene with her mother and the 1,000-piece puzzle that she'll never finish before prison. And it was just very intense because Whitney then uncovered memories potentially that she was abused as a child that she completely blocked out. And it was one of the most real scenes I've seen on realities with her husband, Justin. And I was like, I don't want to be here right now. Like it was so real. And I my heart went out to her, but it was one of those moments where I was like, should I be watching this? Like, it was so intense.
Oh, yeah. The spiritual healer. Yeah.
I mean, it just
half paying attention because I really do not remember something.
I had to watch it 3 times to see every scene, and each time I watched it, I saw a new scene that I was like, I don't even fucking remember this. Okay.
Remember.
Also, Bravo is doing something weird, you guys. On Beverly Hills, they cut out Lisa's cancer line that we all watched her say last week. If you watch it now, supposedly her saying she'll get cancer. They cut it out. So they cut it out sometime over the weekend. What? So a couple of listeners said it is not in there anymore. And of course, we had Jack, the publicist, overhearing Lisa that you saw in a foreign edition, but we didn't get to see it in America. So I do get sometimes weirded out by what Bravo chooses to add in and cut whichever episode you're watching. I don't know what is behind all of that, if there's a reason, but it's always super weird to me when they do that.
That is so shady. Shady.
It really is. It's kind of weird. So, and I think that is, we're with Kanye right now, all that. What is coming up this week? Anything that you're excited to watch? Anything that you watched this weekend? I know you're with your dude's family, so you probably didn't get to watch anything on Netflix.
Let me think for a second. Oh, I watched, Luckiest Girl Alive, that new Netflix. I actually read the book, and it was trigger warning if you watch it. It covers very serious topics, but it's very just like the way that they do it is just like silly. I didn't walk away from the movie being like, that was so powerful. I was like, that was just like silly.
Yeah.
I'm sorry. Like it was just like the way that they handled it. Like Mila Kunis did her, best with the writing, but I thought the book itself was like not the best book ever, and the movie was not strong either. So, but yeah, there should be a stronger trigger warning.
I watched Bachelor in Paradise finally, some of it, and there's only 2 episodes out right now, and it's like fun and flirty. Well, it's fun,
Fun. I've been enjoying Bachelor in Paradise. I'm trying to think of what else. I've still been loving Lord of the Rings.
See, Lord of the Rings is still out there. There's so much stuff that is like, it's almost too much stuff that you can truly not keep up with. Like Lord of the Rings is out there. Like that House of Dragon is on every week. And I'm like, I guess I'm just not going to watch that until they pick it up for another season. And then I realize if it's worth it to invest in, like if they just one and done it, it's not going to be worth it.
I refuse.
Oh, Diana Jenkins. That was the last thing. For like, I'm a new villain here. You want a villain? Here I am. Like, what a way to go out. Like nothing. Like she just has one shot in the reunion trailer of her looking like,
It's so interesting to me because it's very obvious that, the Bravo producers like listen to all the feedback about how much we hate Diana, and they just completely edited her out of like the rest of the season. So again, it's like, if they listen to us about Diana, why can't they listen to us about Rinna?
And I don't know, like, see, that's what I want. I'm really the most excited to see the producer panel at Bravo. And I hear that's like usually not even full. But for me, from a production standpoint, that's the most fascinating part of how they actually, these decisions that they make and they put together. It's like, that's the stuff I really am curious about nowadays, because the fandom is completely wild. Anyways, you guys, go follow Sophie's podcast, So True with Sophie Ross. Who's your guest this week?
My guest this week is actually someone from the Bengals fandom that is huge on Twitter, and he is awesome. And we talk about football, but then we talk about a bunch of other stuff too. So I feel like you guys are really going to like it. If Winter is going to be hard to top, that was so much fun. Winter is like the funniest person alive.
Okay, you guys, that is your week. Remember to use timestamps on these things. If you want to skip right to Sophie, you can. If you want to skip to the solo stuff, you can. We'll be starting this episode off right with Sophie. So hang around afterwards if you want to hear more. If not, we will talk to you later this week. I got a Vanderpumper coming on. I got some really good guests this week.
Pumper do you have coming on?
Ariana Maddox will be on this week, and so that's exciting. And I'll be talking with her tomorrow, and then I'll have stuff. And if you're at BravoCon, please reach out. I can't wait to see everybody, and I'll talk to you next week, you guys.